Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard, and joining me in the studio now are Howard and Tracy McCreery of the Rescue and Restore Coalition under the International Institute of St. Louis. So the Rescue and Restore Coalition centers on a problem that is little known in our community, human trafficking. Right. And you guys have been around for about 7 years, roughly. So why, give us some history on human trafficking. What does that mean?
Okay.
Well, human trafficking is also called trafficking in persons, and it's a form of modern-day slavery. And it's happening all around us, both here in the United States, but also internationally as well.
Yeah, people think of it as an international, like it doesn't happen in the United States. It's outside of our borders, but it's happening right here, even in St. Louis.
Right.
That's correct.
There have been cases that have been prosecuted on the federal level from St. Louis, including areas like Kirkwood. So it's not something that's just happening in certain parts of town. It can happen really anywhere in the city, and there are several cases that are open right now with our U.S. Attorney as well. So we know that it is coming from our neighborhoods here.
So how do you define human trafficking? Like, what kind of slavery issues are we seeing?
We usually use the federal definition for how to define it, and that comes from the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which was passed in 2000. So it's our federal law that really gives us not only what the definition is, but how we can address it and prevent it. And basically that says that there are three forms. So labor trafficking is any time a person is induced through force, fraud, or coercion to do a labor act. And that can be anywhere from a construction site, a nail salon, a place where you might get your hair done, things like that. Often it's masked maybe as a massage parlor or something. And then sex trafficking, there are two types. So if a person is 18 years of age and older, and again is induced through force, fraud, or coercion to perform a sex act, that is sex trafficking. But if you're under the age of 18, it really doesn't matter if force, fraud, or coercion is on the table. So any minor who's caused to do a commercial sex act is considered a victim of human trafficking.
And the third kind?
Oh, sorry, those were the three. So sex trafficking is kind of divided into the two, depending on the age.
Okay.
And if you ever attend one of our trainings, we'll talk a lot about force, fraud, and coercion and how that kind of sets human trafficking apart from other crimes.
Yeah. And
but the unique piece with those who are 18 years of age or younger than 18 years of age is that it doesn't have to be on the table.
Okay. But adults, I mean, it's hard to imagine for me,
right,
and probably for most people, that adults are being victimized in this way. They're being forced into labor. How does that happen? What are the warning signs?
Traffickers are experts at preying on those that are vulnerable. So, if you think about, anybody can become a trafficking victim. Men, women, adults, children, migrants, U.S. citizens, and even people of all education levels. So, but within the population, just like we're all part of the community, there are those that are considered more vulnerable to trafficking. So a great example of that in our community are runaway youth or homeless people. Also people that maybe are socioeconomically vulnerable, so those that are impoverished or low income can be victims as well. But again, it can happen to anybody.
So do you see any trends in terms of certain ethnic groups, immigrants? Tell me about the profile of the person.
The trends, it's kind of difficult at this point because we're still in a data gathering stage, basically. And what's interesting is that from the Department of Justice, we do have some reports that show that the majority of sex trafficking cases are happening to first African American women, then white women, and then Hispanic women, with other ethnic minorities following after that. And the majority of labor trafficking cases happening to foreign nationals. So individuals who are here maybe with legal permanent residency, possibly they came here without documentation. That's just what we're seeing as far as trends go, but that's just a snapshot, and we're still really working to gather an exhaustive data set of what human trafficking really looks like in our communities and how we can better address it and identify it.
So, and we're going to have to wrap up in just a minute, and we'll come back to talk more about this after our break, but do you see any trends? Is it a problem that's growing since you all were formed 7 years ago?
Well, I think unfortunately it is growing and will continue to grow because it's a way that traffickers can make a lot of money. It's considered a high income producing. Trafficking in persons is high income and low risk. And so as long as there's a supply and demand out there and that traffickers can make money, unfortunately it's going to be a problem in our community.
Hard to believe that we have to be aware of this and have to do something about it. So we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk to our viewers about how they can get involved in helping to solve this problem. So don't go away. We will be right back with Abby and Tracy more after our break. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all the great events going on around St. Louis. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always watch us streaming live on stltv.net. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.